Namaskar and a very warm welcome yet again to Simply Suparna Social Impact Leaders. I'm very excited to introduce my guest here today because I think he's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing with Sabera. He's the reason why we have these interactions. Someone who is extremely vibrant and happy and inspiring. Let me introduce Lakshya Nagpal to you. But before I formally bring him on to the stage, I'd like to offer my obeisance to the higher power. Shakti has held me in good stead, and I'm going to be reciting a Sanskrit verse in obeisance to Goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. What it essentially means is to help us ignite that light within our hearts to dispel the darkness of ignorance with the light of wisdom, with the light of knowledge. Ya kundendu tushar harad havla, ya shubhra vastravrita, ya veena varadanda manditakara, ya shweta padmasana, ya brahmachutta shankar prabhutibhi, devai sada vandita, samam patu saraswati, bhagavati nishesh jadyapaha. Like I said, I'm very excited to bring Lakshya Nagpal onto the stage besides me on Social Impact Leaders Simply with Suparna. A brief introduction to him is that he's this young 28-year-old who serves as a product manager with Microsoft, and his journey has been marked with courage and determination as he battles cancer. He's undergone operations since 2016 when he was initially diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer called sarcoma. And since then, he has co founded the Sachin Sarcoma Society, a non profit organization dedicated to supporting cancer patients and caregivers. Thank you so much, Lakshya, for taking the time for interacting with me and talking about your journey. Lakshya, and I'm not kidding when I say this. When I interact with you as a young individual, I'm extremely inspired. And you know that Sabera for the past 7 years has been highlighting journeys, has been amplifying voices of people who are doing good for the country. And you're one of those very young and bright young adults who I think India needs to take notice of to emulate the kind of positivity that you bring through your journey, despite all the kind of challenges that you may have faced. Thank you.
Thank you, Suparna, for that wonderful introduction. Because I didn't expect this type of introduction, and especially I really like that Saraswati Puja because my mom used to do that a lot in my house. So I really like that. Thank you for that.
Wow. Sachin, first things first, let's start off with what exactly is sarcoma?
Yeah. So sarcoma is a type of cancer of majorly bones and connective tissues. And connective tissues can be like any muscle or bone or arteries. It can be anything. So the sarcoma falls under the bracket of very rare type of cancers that are people are diagnosed with. And the statistics tells that every 1 in 1 lakh people gets diagnosed with sarcoma. So it's that rare.
And
So
how is
I,
it that you
yeah.
were diagnosed with sarcoma? How did you get to know that you have cancer?
Okay. So I was very active in sports, and I started skipping a lot because with the motive that I'll break Limca Book of World Record.
Wow.
And when I yeah, so when I started skipping, I started getting swelling in my leg, which I thought that I'm developing a muscle because since I was training 5 to 6 hours a day. But to my surprise, it was not, and it was misdiagnosed initially. But during that time, I was also involved in my final year of college placement. So I kept that aside. I used to feel the pain every single night, but I kept that aside and I focused on placement. But once I was placed, I was done with that. Then I actually got myself checked with some other hospital. They told me to undergo different scans, and in the scans, there's an impression section at the end of each report that we get. So in that, it was written that please consider periosteal osteosarcoma, and I also didn't know what that term is. I googled it, and to be honest, when I googled it, like tears started flowing down my eyes, and my mom immediately knew, like after 2 hours, that my child has cried and there is something wrong. She asked me and she consoled me a lot that okay, there's no nothing to worry about. We'll tackle it together. And then we went to AIMS, and I underwent biopsy surgery. So yeah, it has been a
And
long
how
journey.
old were you? How old were you at the time?
At that time, I was 21. Like I
You
was
were
in my
just
final
about
year. Yeah,
21 years old, preparing for your graduation, and you cracked Delhi College of Engineering, right?
yeah, yeah,
At that point in time. And you went on through this phase, and you say that you underwent almost four surgeries. We'll
yeah,
come to
yeah.
that. But first, I wanted to understand from you, how is it that you actually decided? There's a lot of us are faced. In fact, every one of us are faced with challenges, but not many of us actually not only battle those challenges, but also try to make the journey easier for other people who are battling similar kind of challenges.
Yeah, yeah.
What makes it? What makes Lakshya the way he is? What kind of drove you to actually consider this path of following of offering relief to other people who are probably battling in a similar situation like you, considering that you're an extremely young person, you're not somebody who's very old, and you've just started out in your life. So what made you take this decision about founding Sarcoma Society?
Okay. So, after my first operation, the doctor, my doctor, Dr. Samir Stogi, he actually reached out to many sarcoma survivors, caregivers, and he told us that okay, there is a void in India, that there is no sarcoma support group specifically for India. Like there are many for breast cancer, lung cancer, and all, but there is none for sarcoma. And in developed nations like US, Europe, they have dedicated sarcoma support groups there. So we should start one. And to be honest, at first I didn't found any motive or any vision that I had for this society. The only objective that was going in my head was that during my treatment there were a lot of challenges that I faced, and the challenges were like, if there would have been a companion for me, with whom I can share my pain, who can understand my pain. Like my parents can listen to me, but they cannot understand what I am going through psychologically and all of that. So I just wanted that companion. Plus, like AIMS is such a big, crowded hospital, and I have to run to different rooms, uh, like ask multiple people, where do I get this, where do I get that, and all that. And getting to the right doctor itself is a challenge at AIMS. So my main objective when I started this society was that I just want to bridge this gap, because for the treatment, if I can even reduce the number of days for treatment for the patient by like uh, 5 days or 10 days, that would be a huge achievement for me. That okay, I have helped the patient, and what I underwent through the challenges, they don't have to undergo that. Okay, so that was my motive, but we have come a long way from that motive, and we have expanded our horizon to like multiple domains. And the challenges that I didn't even face it during my treatment, I am now aware of it, and I am now considerate about other patients, that okay, if they are saying about those challenges, those are genuinely they are facing. It's not like I have faced all the challenges that I've seen.
So
So
when you talk about the Sachin Sarcoma Society, first, how did you name it Sachin? Sachin, because your name is not Sachin, it's
yeah,
Lakshya.
yeah. So it's that's a funny story that my doctor, just like I told you, Dr. Samir Stogi, he actually reached out to us and he told us about Sachin. Like we have met him also once only. So he told us that Sachin was also a sarcoma survivor, and instead of sitting idle outside the doctor's OPD, he used to like talk to other patients, understand what they are going through. He used to make jokes about them. And when a patient makes joke about the other patient, they are all good and chill. They enjoy a lot, that okay, ye to mast hai. So that's why uh, when doctor saw that all the patients outside his OPD are happy and they are not depressed, gloomy and all, so he thought that okay, this is a very good initiative and we should start it formally. When he like reached out to all of us caregivers and survivors, but unfortunately Sachin expired from sarcoma, but his we wanted his legacy to live on by continuing his work, as well as we named our NGO under his name.
Super. What a lovely, brilliant story. And what exactly does Sachin Sarcoma as a non-profit do today?
Yeah. So we, so just like I mentioned, that we bridge the gap between the doctor and the patient. Okay. So if patient wants to go to the right doctor, he wants to get a right opinion. That's the first thing. Okay. And the second, so because early diagnosis, just like in every cancer treatment, not just in sarcoma, early diagnosis is a must. If you detect it early, your treatment would be very it would be a breeze. Like you won't be facing much issues in that. So that's our first objective. The second objective is we have observed that when the cancer news is broken to a patient that okay, you have cancer, his life departs. Like his life is dilapidated and he shatters down. So we are the first touch point for them. That okay, just outside the OPD, we sit and we interact with them, we counsel them, not professionally, but through what we have gone through. Okay, and when the patient actually gets to know that okay, we are also sarcoma survivors, and they can see that okay, even after undergoing chemo, radiotherapy, surgeries, we are doing good in our life, we are working, we are back in our regular routine. So that gives a very positive attitude, that creates a positive attitude in them, that gives them a motivation that okay, this is just a phase of life, it will pass anyway, and we will also be like they are doing the work. Okay, so that actually gives us happiness that okay, we are able to relieve some misery or some pain that they were feeling in their mind at least. So counseling, then there are administrative challenges like I mentioned that I faced during my treatment. Then we also help logistically that okay, if there is some since AIMS has 80 to 90% of the patients who are not from a very well background, they are not financially very well. So we make sure that this financial burden should not be impacting their treatment and should not be impacting their mental health at least. So that's where like we help them provide medicines, scans free of cost, or like at the discounted rate if possible, so that like we can alleviate some of the pain that they are facing.
You've
So
also created a very interesting app. Tell us a little bit about more about that app, and also in terms of medicines, etc. It's not like that Lakshya comes from a very rich background, and even if anybody coming from a rich background, when you're battling with a disease like cancer, everybody knows how expensive that treatment can be. Even though Lakshya comes from like a regular, any one of us, middle class background. I think your mother is a teacher and your father served in Tata Power. So, how is it when you say that we'd like to support people financially also, or in terms of the medicines? What exactly, what is this unique aspect that you bring to the fore?
yeah, so there's a story behind that. I'll tell you that story. Okay, so there was a patient that came up to us when we were sitting outside the OPD, and that patient was not very financially well. Like we can see from the way he was dressed up, the way he was talking. Uh, so it was very difficult to read in Hindi for that patient. So he was uneducated as well, but we can understand that he was told that something serious has happened to him, and he has to take care of it. So we explained to him what the thing was, and he then the doctor told him that these are the medicine that are required. In AIMS, those specific medicine was not available at that point in time. Like AIMS actually gave free medicines, but at that point of time they were not available, and he had to purchase it from outside. Okay, so but he didn't had any money to buy it, and honestly, when we started our NGO, we were also not funded. Like we used to fund it from our own earnings and all. So we were also helpless at that time, because at that time our fund was also completely utilized. So what we did was, we thought that okay, let's reach out to other similar patients who are undergoing similar disease, like similar type of sarcoma, and who are given similar type of medicines. Okay, we started reaching out to them that okay, this patient need medicine, like can you donate? But many people didn't donate it because they required it for their current treatment, so we totally understand. But there was like one patient who told us that okay, my treatment is over, these are the leftover medicines, it has still not expired, so I am more than happy to give it to you, because it can be donated to some patient. So from that incident we got an idea that okay, this can be something big. Okay, so then like we started reaching out to people. We are sitting outside the OPD, so repeated patients, like the patients who are we are meeting more often, we started reaching out to them, and we started telling that okay, please, if you have any unused medicine who are not which are not expired, please give it to us. We will maintain the inventory, we will maintain all the precautionary measure, like if it had to be refrigerated and everything, and we will give it to the needy ones who are actually in need, so that even if they have some amount of money, we don't want them to spend it, and we want them to spend it on their children's education or for their well-being, or like to live happy with their family. So we started with this initiative, and like now it's a big initiative, project efficiency, we are calling it project efficiency, utilizing the resources, because we are neither putting our in own expenses just for the logistics, like if we have to courier it, we just put in our money for that, because patients are willing to donate it, who are which is unused for them, and we are willing to bridge the gap between the patient and the person who needs it. And like I'm happy to tell that we have provided in the last 2.5 years, we have donated 30 lakhs of medicine without even
Wow.
putting a single penny of us. So
I think
that's a
it's
huge
brilliant.
milestone.
I think not just with
Yeah,
sarcoma patients, this kind of a model can work for any other disease, let alone rare
yeah,
diseases,
exactly,
because there are
exactly.
so many medicines that are left over which haven't expired, and these can be shared with patients who cannot afford to buy those medicines. And if you can create anything, you've created an app also that supports
Yeah.
something like this, right?
Yeah. So that app was unrelated to this, but that app was for the welfare of the patients only. So that app is called as OPD management tool. So that was like I personally faced that challenge, and I created that app so that other patients won't have to do that. So if I give you a real life scenario, that is like I go to AIMS. Okay, I get myself registered that okay, today is my OPD date. I reach there by 8 a.m. But doctors attend me at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or like 1 p.m. anytime. It, and I am unaware that when my term would come. It can come at 10 a.m., 12 p.m. Okay, so what I used to do, I just used to sit outside the OPD, eagerly waiting for my turn, and anxious also that okay, what the doctor would say, and for that turn to come, I would not eat, I would not drink anything. That okay, if I go somewhere even for 5 minutes and if my name gets called out, I wouldn't be there. Then again, it would get delayed for 2 3 hours. So it used to like impact a lot of patients, and they used to faint outside OPD. Sometimes some patients have fainted. So we thought that okay, why not digitize it? We should like the doctor. We collaborated with the doctor, and we told them that okay, you just register all the patients that have to come to on a specific day, and then you can actually let the app know that okay, this is the next turn of like these are the next three patients turn, so be ready. Okay, and it also shows the ongoing patients who are getting attended currently, so that the patients who are like not in be ready state, they can chill and relax. Like that was all. That was just to like subside all the tension and the hunger that they have sitting outside the OPD. We just wanted to like reduce that.
Wow, Lakshya, you're also very effervescent and very positive. How do you maintain your stature the way you are? I'm really, and it's not just about, people battling with cancer or cancer survivors, but I think everybody should be able to learn from your positivity. So, what is your mantra?
So during my 6 7 years of treatment, I just followed one thing, and I like literally tell everyone to do that only. And that thing is, don't focus on your current problems. Just take your mind off it. Start doing something else. Keep it in the back of your mind so that you don't get deviated from that also, because you have to face that also anyway. So just don't focus on that, because if I give you my example, during my treatment, like during my chemotherapy or when I was bedridden, okay, all during all of that time, I was just focused on, okay, I have to work, I have to perform well, okay, I have to clear the cat, I have to do my MBA. So I was focused on my career, or if like after my amputation, what I was focused on, like I have to complete web series. Many people watch Game of Thrones, many people watch TVF series. I feel very left out of the group, so I have to complete that and I have to like join them and have the conversation. So that's my mantra, that keep your worries aside, focus on what you actually want to achieve or what you actually want to do, and the problem will subside anyway. Like you will face it anyway. You don't have to worry about that.
Talking to you, it almost feels like there is no issue. It's really an effervescent bubble that will go. But you have, and you continue to go through your fair share of struggle, though you choose
Yeah,
not for letting that struggle to bow you down.
okay.
Instead, you choose to make it a kind of a tool for you to help other people. Now,
Yeah,
I also want to understand from you. You mentioned you underwent four different surgeries, and one of them was actually an amputation. Okay, are you comfortable in sharing something about that?
yeah. I run an NGO. Like I openly tell people about it because I'm proud of it. That I underwent that. I'm doing good in my life, because people don't have to fear anything in life. Just just make sure that you are happy and you are all good. So
Right.
yeah, I'm totally
And
good. Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about why is it that the doctors decided to amputate a part of your leg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So doctors, so I'll tell you that doctors depend a lot on the research, what the research tells us. Okay, so that's the medical history that so for me, my cancer was detected in my right femur bone, which is the right thigh. Okay, so in the first three surgeries, every single time it was in the right thigh only, and my bone was removed, bone cement was inserted, muscles were removed. Like there were a bunch of things that happened in those three surgeries. But after the third surgery, before my first surgery, the cancer was a low grade cancer. But after my third surgery, there's a histopathology report that comes after the surgery, and that actually told me that okay, that low grade has converted into high grade. Okay, so you have to undergo chemo. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, doctor told me that okay, as a precautionary measure, you have to like if you can undergo amputation, just as a precautionary measure, that it doesn't spread to the other body parts. Okay, so I took like different opinions, that is it really I have to undergo, because I'll be losing a body part of mine, and that was a very tough call for me. So I consulted multiple doctors, and everyone was of the same opinion, that as per the research, you should undergo amputation. That is like the source of truth for us in your type of diagnosis. So when every expert was saying that, I thought that okay, for my longer lifespan, I should undergo it, so that it doesn't spread to my other body parts. I underwent it. I underwent rotation plasty, to be honest, where my leg is rotated opposite in 180 degrees, and then uh, then my chemo was again resumed. It was stopped, amputation happened, and then again it was resumed. But in 2021, when I was in my when I completed my first year of MBA college, then I was broken the information that okay, my cancer has recurred again in my lungs. It has spread to my lungs, and it was like something. I didn't expect, and it was a huge blowback for me. That okay, the only reason why I got rid of my body part was in vain, and I have to like undergo the chemo process again for 9 months. But since I told you, I didn't focus on my chemo. I at that time I focused on my internship. Then I focused on my like health. That okay, I have to sorry that I have to focus on my uh, health, and like I started going to the gym while I was undergoing chemo. I went to Leh Ladakh. I don't know why it happened. What came in my mind? I was undergoing chemo and I went to Leh Ladakh, where people actually normal people were having breathing issues. So that was I don't know. I don't know why that bug came in my mind, and I went to with one friend who didn't even know like I was going undergoing so much. So that was something that I still feel that that should not have been done, but that was one hell of a trip, to be honest. So
Lakshya, it's
yeah,
not that it is just the disease has taken away from you. It has also, I would say, talking to you, interacting with you, it has also given you a lot, I would say. It
exactly.
has made you into this positive, vibrant person. Were you always as effervescent when you were younger or before you were diagnosed, or has this actually had an effect on you?
So, if I tell you about myself before the treatment, I was a very shy, introvert, like underconfident person who was not at all having his own opinion in the world. He was like all good and chill with whatever the world is treating him with. So, I was a very adjusting kind of nature. But now I have a say of my own. Like, I am a very outgoing person, and like if I keep like if you make me stand in front of 10,000 people, and if you say to me that okay, you have to speak something about anything for 10 minutes, I can do that. Like I'm so much confident right now that I can do it. And I think cancer doesn't just actually helps you evolve physically, but it helped me evolve emotionally as well as psychologically, because now I have started seeing the world with a different kind of lens. And I know that okay, if I have to like if someone shares their pain, be it any kind of pain, I have to be empathetic about it, and I can sometimes resonate with them, because many of my friends actually share about their mental health and all. And I have undergone that. Okay, I was not depressed. I won't say I was depressed, but I was like at the lowest point of my life when I underwent amputation, because a day before I had my legs and I was jolly and good a day before amputation, and I was cheering my mom that "Arey mom, this is nothing serious. I'll be all good. The rest three surgeries were also good. This would also be good." But after my amputation, when I looked at my leg and when I started walking on one leg, that actually like put a dent in my head that okay, what have done to myself. And that actually made me realize that I was at the lowest point in my life, and what would I do with my life? At that point I was totally lost. But that stage was like for only 10-12 days. Then I focused myself in web series, to be honest. I didn't focus on so
And right now,
so
also, you're outside somewhere. You're not in your
yeah, yeah.
college. So where are you? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm in Starbucks right now. I took a day off from work because I have to attend my friend's dad's surgery, and I was there just as a moral support for him. So I took some time off because we were just standing outside OT, and I told him that whenever you need me, you just call me. I'll be straight away with you, but I have to
You
go
become
somewhere.
that solid strength of support to people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
whoever
look up to
wants
me.
to
Yeah, they
reach
look up
out
to
to
me.
you.
Yeah.
And so that, in a way, you've evolved as a human being. You've become much better than people who have everything going for them. I feel you've become
Yeah.
much stronger. The energy in you has actually grown. Um, and has that had an effect with the girls also in your life?
So yeah, just like I mentioned, that shy introvert, I was like previously during my college days, I was even afraid to even hug them and shake hands with them. I used to like shiver at that time. Up to I've dated many girls. I'm all good, chill and good. I'm happy with my life.
So it hasn't
So yeah.
really you don't shy away from sharing your story, and
No,
that
no, not
story
yet.
also doesn't deter people to befriend you or
Yeah.
girls to be friends with you.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, this is a very good point that you highlighted. That previously, when I didn't undergo amputation, uh, my like my disease or my disability was not visible to anyone because my leg was there. It was just that the bone was not there. Okay, so it was not visible. Uh, but after the amputation, I am using an artificial leg, so it's very much visible that okay, there is some problem in his leg. People cannot identify what the problem is, or if he doesn't even have a leg. But from the girl's point of view, like I was very when I told you I was at my lowest point because at that time also my girlfriend left me because she told me that okay, you won't be able to give time with me, a lot of things would change in your life, so she left me at that time when my amputation happened, and that actually put an impact on me that okay, girls would be concerned about this. I won't be able to date again and all of that. But to be honest, that was just what I say, roadblock or speed bump. So after that, the road was really smooth, and I was able to date many girls. And girls are not even concerned about that. They are happy because I've seen many girls. They have PCOS, PCOD. They are also undergoing multiple things in their life, and and the girls especially who have undergone like who have seen their family members undergoing some similar disease or like some kidney heart problem, they can see that okay, person is not different after their treatment, like they are the same and they are even better sometimes. So they are very empathetic, many girls are empathetic about it, and I really enjoy it.
Super.
So
I think it's been such a wonderful experience for me to have interacted with you, and I'm sure many more people would like to, align with the kind of work that you're doing. Sachin Sarcoma Society.org is your website address. We will be posting that as well, a link to support you. And in case, anybody would like to align with your work, how do you look forward to aligning with people besides monetary support? Are there also opportunities to volunteer for your work?
yeah, absolutely. So on the website itself, we have multiple opportunities. Like we have posted that you can volunteer with us, and there are multiple options that they can choose from. And once that form is submitted, like it reaches to us, and we contact them one on one. Like Rashi ma'am or me contacts them, and we understand that okay, what is their expertise and how they can contribute to us, and then we like start our journey together.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is SABERA Awardee Lakshya Nagpal for you, who's the co-founder for Sachin Sarcoma Society. No less, he's an inspiration for all of us, and he's a bright ray of hope for a lot of people who may be in a similar situation and can be good caregivers to other people who are battling cancer or are cancer survivors. Thank you so much, Lakshya, for taking the time.
Yeah.
Any last parting thought about life?
Just don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy your life. That's it. As simple as that. Like
Lovely.
life is very simple. We just make it complicated. We just complicate it by thinking too much about it. Just have to take it chill and cool. Yeah.
I think this is one of the best advice that I have actually received personally. Thank you so much, Lakshya. God
Thank you so
bless.
much.
And all right.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.